So many people say, once a Jew, always a Jew. When people go far from Hashem and even actively work against the Torah, how can they be considered a Jew? If there are no repercussions for your actions, and you are still part of a group, and it cheapens the value of that identity and accelerates the spirit off the cliff. You should write an article instead of a question. This is a fantastic question. Why do people say, once a Jew, always a Jew? That's really the question. People say once a Jew, always a Jew is because they are misinterpreting a halacha into a something that has become a symbol of our ignorism or ignorance. Meaning that halacha says if a person is, either converts to Judaism, to a authentic Orthodox bedin, or they're born of a Jewish mother, they are considered Jewish. But their Judaism is either on suspension or not on suspension, is active. That's the part they don't tell you. What does that mean? If a Jew is a shomer Torah and mitzvot, he keeps Torah and mitzvot, he's considered part of the Jewish people. Amitecha it's called, your nation. If he does not, or she does not keep Torah and mitzvot, it all depends on what violation she makes. If, let's say, for example, she's immodest, then she's considered a reshait. She's considered wicked, but still a Jew. If she eats non-kosher, she's still considered a Jew, meaning she's still considered part of your nation, she's still considered part of Klal Yisrael, but she's considered wicked, she's making sins. But there are sins that the Torah says that if you make those sins, that Judaism that you were either born into or converted into, that Judaism is on suspension. Meaning you are no longer considered part of Amitecha. It's no longer considered part of the nation. You're judged as a Jew, but you're not considered as a Jew. And one of those sins is someone that worships an idol. Needless to say, someone that drives on Shabbat, someone that violates Shabbat on purpose. There are other sins as well, but the point is that there are certain sins, like these two that I just mentioned, that if a person makes them, their Judaism is on suspension. Now that does not mean that they're considered a goy like a goy is, meaning they're not considered a Gentile like a Gentile is, where a Gentile doesn't have to keep Shabbat. So that's mean it's not for them to drive on Shabbat, it's not a sin. No, for a Jew, he's always considered a Jew in a sense that he's always going to be judged as a Jew. He's going to get punished or rewarded as a Jew. But when it comes to including him or her in the nation, we do not include them in certain things. For example, if you're counting a minyan, you need 10 people to say Kaddish. If one or two of those people out of the 10 do not keep Shabbat, you cannot count that as a minyan. You now have 8. A mechalel Shabbat or an idol worshipper cannot be counted as part of a minyan, according to everyone, not according to Yaron Reuven or Sfaradim, Ashkenazim. It has nothing to do with that. It's Halacha. This is Rambam. This is Shulchan Aruch. Someone that does not keep Shabbat is considered 100% an idol worshipper. Now, if, let's say, for example, you want to get married, you need to have 2 witnesses sign your ketubah to be there at the ceremony. If one of those witnesses is a mechalel Shabbat or is a Christian missionary that was born a Jew, you cannot use them as a witness. If you use them as a witness, that ketubah, that ceremony is not valid. If you are invited, someone that you care about, to your Shabbat table, and that person took the wine, you want it to be nice to you, took the wine, that's a very expensive bottle of wine, and poured you a glass. If that wine is uncooked, expensive wine, you are not allowed to drink that wine. In fact, you have to throw the whole bottle out. The point being, Rabotai, is when someone is excluded from the nation, it doesn't look good. But worst of it all, there is a certain mitzvah that everyone knows about. It's called Lashon Hara. Now, Hashem gave us a big present with this rule. With this rule of someone that's excluded from the nation. Why? Because, Rabotai, if a person says Lashon Hara on a kosher person, they can lose their Olam HaBa. One of the examples is Doeg. Doeg HaAdomi was a big Talmid Chacham, huge Talmid Chacham, head of the Sanhedrin. Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin says he has no share of the world to come. He is in Gehenom permanently. Why? He said Lashon Hara about David HaMelech. So Lashon Hara is a big deal. Someone saying Lashon Hara is a big deal. But the Chafetz Chaim says, all of the rules that have to do with Lashon Hara are only about people that are considered part of Amitecha. Meaning, if you say Lashon Hara against a righteous Jew that's Shomer Torah and Mitzvot, that keeps Torah and Mitzvot, you have to do serious tshuva on that. Why? Because you can lose your Olam HaBa if you don't do tshuva on that. But if that person is a Mechalel Shabbat, it's not even considered Lashon Hara. Why? He's not part of your nation. Say whatever you want about him. You shouldn't, because it's not a good thing to do and get yourself used to, saying Lashon Hara about people. But the point is, this is actually a get-out-of-jail-free card for a lot of the nonsense that people talk about. Why? Because most people in Klal Yisrael are not keeping Torah and Mitzvot. And we say Lashon Hara about them. Now, if we say Lashon Hara about the kosher people, that's a very serious problem, very serious offense. But if you say Lashon Hara about somebody that's a Mechalel Shabbat, it's not even an offense. It's not even a sin. Such is the decree on someone that's a Mechalel Shabbat. So now, when people say a Jew is always a Jew, they're right to an extent. Where he's a Jew, he'll always be judged as a Jew. She's a Jew, she'll always be judged as a Jew, even if she converts to Christianity. But what they're not telling you, either because they don't know or they don't feel the courage to do, the courage to say it, is that they don't tell you that Judaism can be put on suspension. Now, the problem that people have is that they have a difficulty understanding the 13 principles of faith that discuss reward and punishment. And I wrote something up to a friend of mine, a big Talmid Chacham. I wrote him an answer today about the issue. And the problem is that most people do not understand what eternal punishment is. They think that it's not possible for Hashem to punish anyone eternally. Interestingly enough, no one has a problem with Hashem rewarding us eternally, though. No one questions that. No one says, how is it possible that Hashem's going to reward you eternally? No one questions that. Everyone says, no, it's definitely possible. Hashem rewards us eternally, that's forever, for sure. But punishment eternally, we have a problem understanding that. The truth is that human logic is incapable of understanding eternity. We do not understand eternal reward or eternal punishment. We're not capable of understanding anything that's beyond, just a few steps beyond us. Eternity is far, far beyond us. But that's where we go to our Chachamim. That's where we go to our Torah. Torah says there is eternal reward and there is eternal punishment. Meaning, if you do good, you can get eternal reward. If you do bad, guess what? You're getting eternal punishment. For certain sins, not all sins. Some sins, it's not eternal punishment. Some sins, it's just temporary punishment. But needless to say, if a person does not keep Shabbat, a person does not do tshuva for wasting seed, they're getting eternal punishment. There's no questions, no second opinion. So that's why it's important for people to know, yes, Judaism is the chosen people, everything, it's all good. But that's assuming you're righteous. Assuming you're righteous. Next question.